T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News, Exposing Satanic World Government. I hope you guys are all doing well. I want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody in our chat rooms. If you are in the live chat, we do ask that you keep it family friendly. There will be moderators to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platforms that we are utilizing tonight, which is Twitch and YouTube. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you know when we go live. So guys, this is the show that we've been waiting for quite a while. I want to introduce to you my friend, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ralph Epperson. Hi, Ralph.
Thank you very much. I'm here, yes. I don't know why I'm leaving. I can't figure that. I keep moving, and I don't know. Anyway, so please understand, I'm looking straight at the camera, but I'm looking like this or this way. But anyway, I'm here. We got a lot of things to talk about, Laurie.
Yes, we do. We do. So, as you guys know, Ralph is an author of very many books. Let me just put this out here. A lot of people will say that they cut their teeth on the truth and the going down rabbit holes with people like Alex Jones and everything. This is the man right here whose first book that I read called The New World Order that sent me down this rabbit hole. And you have so many books under your belt. You've got CDs. You've got so much information. How did you start down this?
Oh, I don't have a beautiful story that's going to catch your up. I'll make it very brief. I still live in Tucson, but after college, I went to LA to get my first job, and I worked in LA. And I voted in the '62 governor race versus Nixon versus Pat Brown, and I voted for Nixon. I thought, well, it's a great thing. It hit me. I don't know anything about Nixon. I don't even know. So I decided to join the Republicans, and I walked in, and my brother was a Republican. My father, I don't even know if he had voted, but so I voted So I walked in there, and he said, "Who are you?" And I'm Ralph. Yes. He said, "What are you here for?" I'm here to find out how to vote properly. He said, "No, you're here to read." And he gave me a book called Done, Dare, Call It Treason, 1962. I read that book, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. This man was right. So he told me to read. I started. I've got a list in here if I can find it. Yeah, I think so. I've read 119 different authors. If I can find, and they're always conspiratorialists. Okay, I can't remember where it is, but anyway, it's supposed to be there, but I don't. But anyway, there's a list of 119 of them, and I've read their works for that many years. Anyway, I had a list and I can't find it. So I've read voluminously on both sides. I've read those pro and anti, and I'm 100% convinced that I have exposed a 6,000-year-old conspiracy, still active right now, controlling America and the rest of the world. What we're going through right now is a revolution, and it's the New World Order, as you read my book. That book is being published now in at least 6 or 8 foreign countries, and I had inquiries of 20, which means I believe they published it once they wrote to me, and I said, sure, I'd like to. So I don't know how many nations, but that book is reaching people all over the globe, and people are starting to figure out. France now is picketing and marching, Cuba's marching, China was moving. There's something's going on. Now, so that's where I started. I believe it might help if I may briefly as I can. You and I talked about this a few minutes ago. I've had 3 coincidences in my life that in my mind are not coincidences. You decide on your own. But here I'm going to start with this. This is a diagram of Oakland, California. There's a intersection, and over in the right-hand corner down here, that little black dot is my office, and the dot in the south, up in the opposite corner, is a savings and loan. And my friend Ben and I used to eat lunch together. So we walked out the door, walked across the street, then across the street, and we walked into the savings and loan. So I said, that's fine. I said to Ben, go there, do your business. I stood behind Ben. That's me. There at the bottom, and that's Ben and the lady. And then there's a table with 2 chairs against the wall. So there's the lady was there. I stood back. I don't want to interfere with Ben. I don't care what he's doing. He's just a friend of mine. He was buying a car. So anyway, then the next thing happened. I'm standing there, minding my own business, and from behind the wall, the blue dot started walking. She walked out to the end, past the wall, behind the first desk, in front of the desk, and sat at the second desk with the blue dot. And this young lady was it. Because about 3 weeks before, I was 29 years old, hardly dated. I said to myself, you know something, Ralph, you're now 29. You better start thinking about getting married. So I walked into the bank. I saw this woman walk across my vision. And after Ben got through, we walked out the door. I said, Ben, that's the woman I'm going to marry. Now notice the date, wherever it is. March the 1st, I can't say it, but March the 1st, where is it? Yeah, here it is. That was the day I walked in, March the 1st. I couldn't call her. Ben said, I'll introduce you. I said, I got to get the courage. She's a 10 or 12, and I'm a 6. So Ben one day says, come over to my desk. I had to walk across the office, and Ben hands me the phone. I said, hello? Hello? He said, hello? I said, I'm sorry, I don't know. Who am I talking to? You're talking to Sherry. I said, well, you don't know Sherry. She's I work in a savings and loan across the street. And I realized who he's got me talking to, my vision. So I said, listen, young lady, I talked to her cordially. I said, listen, I saw you very briefly a couple of days ago, wherever it was, maybe a month ago. And I said, I saw that you had your life in order. You were happy, you were in control of your life, you were dressed appropriately, you were made up appropriately. I said, you could have been Miss America. And she said, well, that's very nice of you. I said, I'd love to take you out to dinner. This is for me. I'm the guy that stands in the back and hopes they come to me. So I went to her. She said, well, I can't. I'm engaged. Well, that's not the miracle. Notice the date, March the 1st, 1966. I thought I lost her. But as a last resort to her, I said, listen, I said, if it doesn't work, go across the corner. Remember, insurance company over here, wherever it is, and Ralph's my name, and go to the door and say, I want to talk to Ralph, and she'll connect me. We'll walk out the door and stand and talk because I want to meet you. Well, so I said, okay, best of luck. You deserve it. So I go to April, May. I go to LA from Oakland, and I go down there for a couple of days, come back on Saturday. And I come back because I got to go work on Monday. So I come back on Saturday. So I open up the routine. I get at 6 o'clock and eating my breakfast and showering and getting dressed. So I don't get in the rut. I break the rut. So I'm ready for Monday. So as I walk in the door Saturday afternoon, the phone's ringing. So I go, hello? Yeah, are you Ralph? I said, yeah. Ralph Epperson? Yes. You work for an insurance company? I said, yes. She said, this is Sherry. I said, well, Sherry? Sherry from the... Once again, stuttered and muttered. She said, yes. I said, Sherry, you're engaged. She said, I was. I found out he was married. Now that means she remembered Ralph Epperson. Only a phone call, and the thought that I said, when you remember, look at the sign above my company, said insurance. She called me, and she couldn't get me because I was down in LA. So I walked in, and so we talked, and I said, listen, I'd love to take you to dinner Friday. This was Saturday. So I waited and talked to her a couple times. So I picked her up in my car. We drove over to the Bay Bridge with the lights. I had an Austin Haley, and we had this top up and the lights and everything. So we had dinner. During that conversation, she told me that March the 1st, 1966 was the first day on the job. If Ben and I had gone in here the 28th of February, I would have never met her.
Wow.
In December of that year, little Ralphie gets married. Someplace in here, if you don't mind. Here it is. Let's see. I don't know how to. There it is.
There you go. Oh, I've seen this picture before. Yep.
That's little Ralphie in 1966 with the woman that was, I believe, God said, Ralph, it's time to talk about marriage. I'm going to give you who you want. There she is. She's Miss America. She had it all. We were both Catholics, lukewarm as it was. So we said, wait a minute, that's nice. So we got married, and we got together and lived, and then in 73 we separated. And I thought it was divorce time. I won't tell you what the problems were, because we had a marriage of a 6, and it wasn't a 10, it was a 6. So I was just kind of floating around, and so she said, I got to get out of here. So I'm going to think about it. That's miracle number. I call it a miracle. You can call it whatever you want to. March the 5th. Okay, so we got separated. So a friend of mine said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I'm separated from my wife. I don't want to." It looks to me like a divorce. Talk to my pastor. I went to him and we talked. He said, "Who are you?" I told him. He said, "Do you have a personal relationship with Jesus?" I said, "No." He said, "Would you like one?" I said, "Yes." I didn't know I could have one. Bingo, I'm in the water. About three weeks later. Unknowns to me, where Sherry was working, a pastor came into her office where she worked and stuck. He was married with children. He saw her and he started talking to her, and she confessed to who it was and why and he talked to her and convinced her to become a Christian. Opposite, I was not talking to her. I had no influence in her life. Two of us both came to Christ at the same time. Miracle number 2. We got back together again. Now, is that a coincidence or a miracle? It didn't happen before. I think so. Okay, now that's me. Number 3, we decided to buy a house. We didn't have a down payment. And we had almost signed the contract. So I used to work for an insurance company as an inspector, as a safety engineer, and we did appraisals as part of our service, so we could tell the insured what his house was worth, so we would insure it properly. So I go visit this man. It's a wealthy home. It was great. He and I were talking, and we were talking back and forth. And I said, "Listen, I'm thinking about buying a house. You know, how you doing?" So I don't have a down payment. He said, "What's your name?" "Well, checkbook, Ralph Epperson." "How much do you need?" I said, "Well, $2,000. Ralph Epperson, $2,000 here. That's number 3. I said, "Why are you doing this? I can't take this." "Yes, you can." I said, "I'm a Christian. You have a need. I'm going to help you. You and your wife." I bought the house. Number 3.
Wow.
I don't call those one man. I've been doing insurance work for 20 years of my life. One man. I just stumbled into him by God said, "Ralph, you got to go do this." I did it. Did the job. I was friendly and he was friendly. So now, unfortunately, she's gone. So I decided to when I got divorced in 1980 or 81, I guess, I left a note on the kitchen, onto the dining room table, and she came in to get her half of the ashtrays and take half of the dog and half of the whatever it is that you try to wear, and she took half. So I left a note and I said, "Sherry," I said, "I still love you, and I'll love you forever, and I'll be there for you no matter what." Because she was the subject of a very dysfunctional family. I mean, terribly dysfunctional. I'm not going to get into it, just enough. So she did that. She remembered. After 4 years, she got married again, produced 3 children, and then her husband died. And so Sherry couldn't work, she was getting arthritis. So she asked me to help her. She got some serious welfare or something. So I helped her financially for 10 years of my life. I never did anything. Once in a while I'd call her and we'd go out. Here's an example. We went to Tombstone in 1952.
Wow.
That's me and Sherry. She's 51 years old. Look at that still. But notice her face. She's happy. She wants to be there. She's content. And I was stunned because I didn't love her at that time. I told her, my feelings you forgot. I'm just being a friend. You got a family, let's go to Tombstone. Now, I think that's, I won't call it a miracle, but so anyway, she's now gone. And I still didn't love her. I was just, well, it's nice. So her daughter called me and said, "Come down to the house for Thanksgiving." I said, "I'm not family." "Yes, you are. You helped save my family because you gave Sherry what she needed to keep us alive so that she got whatever welfare check she got. She was able to live. And I went there. I saw Sherry the year before she died. The last time Thanksgiving she showed up, I just said hi. nothing, no feeling, no talking. She died. So I was living around and thinking about getting married again, not getting married again. And suddenly it dawned on me, God gave me the right woman. He tested both of us at the same time. We both passed. When I needed the money for a down payment, he provided it. And then he broke me away from her. I matured. I started getting some confidence again back from when I couldn't do anything to women. I started dating once in a while, but I couldn't find. And suddenly, let me finish with this. I asked the daughter when I went there a couple of years ago now. I said, tell me this. Are you and your husband both born again? Christians, yes. I said, fully committed, born again? Yeah, absolutely. I said, would you believe that Sherry was a committed Christian? She said, yes. I said, do you believe she's in heaven? Yes. And then it dawned on me, that's the reward for both going through what we went through. It wasn't about the 14 years of our marriage or the period afterwards. We're going to get together in heaven for eternity. And she's going to fulfill what I saw in her in 1966. End of story. You can call
What
it.
a beautiful story.
I'm telling you, yes. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, now, you said, I finished my story. There are several things I want to talk about that you might find of some interest. Let's do this first, as soon as I find it. I'm looking through folders because I want to tell you that Donald Trump's going to be our next president. Here. Oh, here we go. Let's get some good news. Everybody says, wait, I don't believe that John Kennedy's alive and well. Okay, I'll prove it to you that he is. I got some pictures to show you. I got proof. I'm going to do this with a stack of papers. We'll do it as quickly as I can. I'm going to show you the proof, physical proof, that John Kennedy's alive and well. He's on the earth right now, and he's, okay, here we go. Here's the first picture. I'm not used to using it. This is a thing I invented to do this, make it easy to hold on to it. There it is. Who's that? That's little John Jr.
It's little John Jr.
What's that?
I said, that's little John Jr. I said, I wasn't even alive back then, but I think everybody knows that infamous picture.
I've asked at least 20 people of all ages, all races. They know who this man is. We lived with this guy. There's the picture of the family. There's Jackie and Teddy and Bobby and little Junior.
Yep.
So now, here he is. We've lived with this guy. We grew up with him. Look at that. Is that a hunk or is that a hunk?
He was a hunk. That's right.
Oh, by the way, I want you to know that I was asked to compete in this competition. He was named the handsomest single man in America, and I competed with him, and I was notified I was going to win, but I had to fill out a form, and they got the form the day after that they not gave it to him, so I came in second.
You were a day late and $1 short, my friend.
Look at that. Here, he's got friends in high places. I don't know, maybe he's 34, 40 years old. Who's that? That's Donald Trump.
That's Donald Trump.
I think this was taken while both of them were single. I don't know. I don't even know the year that was taken. Here. I'm going to ask you to read this.
Okay, that's good. A little bit more. Can you back it up just a little bit? Back it up just a little bit. If my dear friend Donald Trump ever decided to sacrifice his fabulous billionaire lifestyle to become president, he would be an unstoppable force for ultimate justice that Democrats and Republicans alike would celebrate. John F. Kennedy Jr., George Magazine, June 1999.
Yes, good. Yeah. George, on the bottom of that form, it said, a magazine. He created a magazine He called it George. What a strange name for a magazine.
You know, I always thought when he first started it, I was like, you know, it was very weird. It was very odd that he picked that name.
That's what he did. He put a cover, the dress of George Washington on the cover and said it was a woman, which means it's not a man and it's not a George, but it was a George because he knows. I'm going to show you now that this stunned me when he said this. Listen to this. Read.
No, I didn't fly my plane into the ocean. And yes, George Bush killed my father.
Do you understand what he just said? The reason he named his magazine George was somebody in the conspiracy that I've been proving for 30 years of my life that killed President Kennedy was led by George Herbert Walker Bush. He was appointed to do the job, and a CIA agent at the time, he did his job. Now, we'll cover that in a little story. But the reason he named it George was because he said, I'm after you, George. I know that you killed my father, and I'm going to do what I can to make sure you do it.
It was a clear, decisive message to George Herbert Walker Bush.
Now, let's fill in the next gap. Why did he do that? Why did he kill himself? He lived in New York. I don't know where. Anyway, at the same time in 1999, because he had his magazine. He decided to run for the seat being retired by Daniel Moynihan, Democrat, New York. Not kicked out of office, not died, did no scandal, I retired. So John says, I'm going to run for the Senate seat. The Senate seat was promised to Hillary. And when Hillary found out that John was going to run,
well,
she said,
John had to be stopped.
Please, listen. She said, I will never beat him. She went back to the conspiracy that made her husband president for 8 years and also promised her the presidency, but they gave it to Obama. So they said, we'll take care of it. And I cannot say it was her, but some men with black glasses and suits went to bang on his office door and said, John, we killed your father. We don't want you to run for the Senate seat because if you do, you might regret it. So John said, my God, this is getting scary. They killed John Kennedy, one of 4 brothers. They killed the eldest one, Joseph Jr. They killed Bobby. They killed Joseph, John, and Bobby. And they missed on Teddy. Teddy's airplane crashed. The pilot was killed. They tried to kill him. It didn't work. Then when you get hung and you survive, they say you're free. Just don't do it again. So they said, you can't run for the presidency. You can be a senator or everything else what you want to do. So Junior figured it out. He didn't want to be number 5. So he took his own life, and he's been hiding, but he's not hiding. That's the point. Well, I'm not going to belabor the point, but I've got pictures of him. I messed these all up. I flipped them over. I'm going to show you that here. I don't have my box, but I'll just show you. That's John Jr. right there at one of Trump's rallies.
Yeah.
Notice what he's doing. He's concealing himself by the fake beard and the glasses and a hat and.
Yeah.
But let me tell you how we know it was him. That is his wife.
Yep.
And look at this picture, how far away she's sitting. So this was John Jr. going to the Trump rally, admitting he was alive in the 2016. Now, He said that George Herbert Walker Bush arranged it. I'm going to show you George Herbert Walker Bush at the scene of the assassination. That's the school book depository. These are the people and the policemen looking at, making sure that no one leaves. Now, right over there is George Herbert Walker Bush. He went to make sure it worked. He went to the actual building after the assassination and mingled. No one knew who he was, but he did his job. He's going to become president. Now, I admit that picture is very far away, but put it against, put it side by side, the picture of George Herbert Walker Bush. Now, let's convince you that he was there in Dallas. I'm going to have to read this because this is a copy of a copy. George Herbert Walker Bush. This is the letter previously issued. It was signed by J. Edgar Hoover, November the 29th. The substance of the foregoing information was orally furnished to George Bush of the CIA and so-and-so of the CIA on November 23rd, 1961. Where was he? I'm sorry, it says 1963. It's a bank smart. The day afterwards, they called George Bush and said, we want to confirm Kennedy's dead. He was there. I want to confirm that he was there. Another FBI letter. I'm going to read these. I'm trying to show you I document my case.
Right.
Here's what it says. Bush stated that he was proceeding to Dallas, Texas, would remain in the Sheraton Dallas Hotel and return to his residence on 11/23/63. Where was he on 11/22/63? In front of the school book depository. He went there to make sure it worked. That's serious. Now, John Kennedy Jr. has got to surface, and I think that's going to happen pretty soon. And when he does, if Trump takes over the presidency, as I discussed in my Facebook message, and I think you got it on the screen if you want to show it's up to you. I put this on the Facebook. We are very close to Donald Trump with a matter of days, maybe less than a month, to become president of the United States. And there's the way he's going to, there it is. This is on Facebook. You can read it. I'll just save it. What he's saying is that if he gets 3 states to declare the election to be default, he becomes president of the United States within a matter of days. So if Georgia, Arizona, and Pennsylvania decide to determine that the election was fraudulently proclaimed as efficient, and then Biden loses those votes, and he doesn't have a majority. In a matter of days, in the 12th Amendment, Donald Trump becomes president, and guess who becomes vice president? John Kennedy Jr. America, where'd you hear that? Here's something to show you how evil Teddy was.
By the way, Teddy was not driving the car that went off the bridge in I can never pronounce it.
Chappaquiddick.
Mary Jo was driving the car by herself.
No, that's not the official story, but this is the official story. You understand? He got away with it. 8 married men went for the day sailing in the ocean out there in Chappaquiddick, and they decided to have a little party, and 8 married men, no wives were there, but strangely enough, 8 single women showed up in a little cabin they rented on the beach, isolated with cabins blocks away. And so Teddy says, Mary Jo, let's go in the car. His car, a big old Oldsmobile, 47 feet long, big, huge thing. Teddy's 6 foot or 6'1", Mary Jo's 5'2". So they drove on the road. Instead of going to the left to go to the ferry and go across the aisle to get to Chappaquiddick, they made a right-hand turn and stopped the car and got out and got into the cemetery there on the corner of the image of this road, and the road going like this. And a sheriff stopped his car. He looked around. He was looking. He found the car. He said, maybe they're in trouble. I'll find out what it is. He started walking. Teddy saw him coming and said to Mary Jo, take the keys, get in my Oldsmobile, and get out of here. And then I'll just stand, you won't see me, and then turn around and come back. So Teddy stood there, waited. The sheriff left. He's waiting a half an hour. Mary Jo didn't come back. So what did he do? Go down the road to find this, a dead end. He didn't do that. He decided to go back to the cabin. He got his uncle and his attorney to join in the second car, which is a little Valiant, that they rented to get back and forth to get from the airport. They drove down there and found Mary Jo's car turned over, upside down. She's drowned. She's dead. They finally made a deal. So Teddy would call the police the next morning and said, listen, I'll take care of it. So he waited, he slept that night, I'm sure restless, and got up, made a bunch of phone calls, and finally called the police and said, I got to report an accident. The guy that got there that was scuba diving, officially certified, found the body and said that there was enough air in the car so that if Teddy had walked down the half mile or so, he could have saved her. So they, don't do that again, Teddy. Please don't. And Teddy gave him $1 million. That's part of the Kennedy. That part of the Kennedy plan is wrong. Okay, well that takes care of Junior. Now, let's see what we can talk about next. Oh, this is important. This is very important. I want to go back to the funeral. You ready for this? This is going to scare you people.
Yeah.
You might not want to know this.
George Herbert Walker Bush funeral, December 6, 2018, confession.
Okay. What does that mean, confession? So we go to the church, and there's the pastor of the church is, there's two aisles like this, and of course in between there's an aisle, and the pastor's up here at the top, standing on a pulpit, and he's looking down, and this is what he sees directly in front of him. This is a pew in I guess it's a big Catholic church. That's, you can tell. Tell me who's over here at this side first.
Okay, we have Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy Carter, the Carters. Then we have the Clintons.
Okay, no, over here. Who's the first guy?
Donald Trump.
And Ed?
And then his wife.
Yes, who's next?
Obama.
And who?
Michelle.
And who?
Bill Clinton.
And who?
Hillary.
And who's next?
Jimmy Carter.
And who's
and his wife.
Okay, now. All of these people were given a program where you could see it's in their lap.
That's right. I think everybody remembers this because it was all over alternative news media, not so much mainstream, but.
No. They opened it up. And when they did, the pictures are made of them. Here it is.
Can I do the drum roll?
What's Hillary doing? She's reading it's an envelope, and she's got what was inside, and she's reading it. And then Bill and he's looking at it, and his wife's looking at it, and it looks like Carter didn't get one. If he did, there was no envelope. Hillary, it really hit her. Look at this.
Yeah, she read it and then she read it again. Yeah.
Now, what did it say?
Drum roll. They know everything.
Who is on the top?
What's that?
What does it say above that?
I can't read above that.
Okay, it says, former President of the United States of America, and then down at the bottom, it's signed by George Herbert Walker Bush.
They know everything.
What does that mean, everything?
Everything would mean everything.
Laurie, please. We're both saying the same thing. Please listen to I'm trying out a narrative. Please. Okay, now let's go back. And I will tell you what they found out and why they said this. George Bush, the father, was dying. They knew. They went to him. The Trump people went to him and said, we're going to give you door A or door B. We know you're going to die. We're going to give you door A, which means we're going to ask you to confess and tell us all that you've done for your 40 years in government. And then we'll let you die, and we will not destroy your legacy. If you decide not to do that, we're going to remove you from the census. George Bush decided to confess. They went to him. It was recorded, videotaped, or movies, wherever it was. It was transcribed, and he signed it. And this is an evidence to the rest of the presidents. We know everything. George Bush confessed to being the murderer of Teddy Kennedy. I'll give you my own personal story. Happened to me that convinced me that George Bush was a major player on their side. And about whatever it's a year, many years later, I'm in the Saturday morning breakfast club, and I'm always standing in the back of the room because we got 30, 40 people, and they're all sitting in front of me. I stand, and there's a speaker up there at the head table, and he's talking, and I'm listening, and so it's talking. Hey, shut up, speaker. Here's my question. I shout it out so everybody hears it. He shouts back to me. Everybody hears it as well. That's the reason. If I'm in the front row, they've never heard the question. So I'm saying. So a young man a few minutes before it started, walked in, stood beside me in his fatigues, Air Force fatigues, with stripes on his arm. Enlisted man. So he stands there, and the speaker was Bo Gritz, a retired colonel, great American patriot, talking to him. So he said, I want to confirm what you said, that we were in the drug business during the war, the Vietnamese War. I served for 8 years loading the Air America airplanes that landed at the U Tapao airfield. I found it. I got a picture of it. It's just a runway long enough to take not jets, but older planes. They fly in one at a time, and they're loaded by 8 American civilians working for 4 years for the CIA. At the end of the 4 years, they gave them commission jobs in the Air Force with resulting rank, which means when they got through with the 8 years, they got some benefits or something. So I said, after he got through, I'm going to confirm it that I was there. I saw it. So I said, who are his talk? So we went and met, and he told me his story. He said one day while they were working to load a C-46 or 7, another one landed, and somehow they found out, I guess he got out, and they said, that's a congressman here. Someone said he's a congressman. And they ran to see him, and it was George Herbert Walker Bush. He said he was a congressman at that time, and he said we had lunch and talked for lunchtime. I did over, then I went back to work, and he flew out in an airplane loaded with heroin. He knew it was going on. He didn't try to stop it. That's criminal. People were dying because of that heroin. George Herbert Walker, he was an Air Force pilot during World War II. He sat in the co-pilot seat. We loaded his airplane, and he took off. And, in other words, that's what he's been confessing to, and other things. I could tell you other stories about how the Clintons and Bush were involved in major crime. It's an incredible story. That means Trump knows all of this dirt.
Trump has said for a while that we have everything.
He's got it transcribed, and it's been signed and notarized and witnessed. It's all documented, and it can be used in court. I'm sorry, people are going to be taken out of the census. It's already started down. I'm not going to name names, but it's already started down at Guantanamo. And the reason is this: if you violate a classified document in any way, no matter where you are in the government, you're subject to a federal crime. It's called treason, and the penalty is to be removed from the census.
I like how you put that.
That's because I don't like to say those things, but that's a polite way of saying.
We got your message. Absolutely.
Now, that means Trump has got 200,000 indictments prepared, signed, and ready to be admitted in court. If you violate a top secret classified document, you're going to be tried in Guantanamo, where they can discuss the evidence, which was the top secret document. They can't do that in a courtroom. They can't try them in America. They're trying them at Guantanamo and a military tribunal. I'm telling you, people, this swamp is going to be drained, and it's already started. Now, I cannot give you any of the names. There's several others that we both maybe could. I'm just saying there's several key people that you would recognize, and if I told you they've been removed from the census.
We talked before we went live, and I had mentioned McCain.
Well, please. I'm trying to take advantage of the time by saying only Greeks took this. This is a letter written by the he's the advocate lawyer of the nation of Italy. Written document signed confirming that we were directly involved in fraudulently sending messages, ballots to Frankfurt, Germany, signed and notarized. It proves, this letter by itself proves there was fraud in the election. This letter itself, I've got a copy of it. I won't bore you with the details. Okay, let's just take some things at random. Okay, I recommend, for those of you who don't believe Donald Trump's worth the sweat of the time of the day, to go to the United Nations speech he delivered in 2018. Because what he said in the first half hour of that, it's on the video, on the internet. You can go and verify it, and I'm going to just read you what he said briefly. There's 21 specific things that I've got listed here about what he did in 2 years. And I'm telling you right now, this list is more for the United States people than 20 years of Obama, Bush, and then maybe 30, 40, even back to Reagan. Because he talked about $10 trillion in new wealth. The stock market was an all-time high 2 years. The joblessness claims at a 50-year low. African American, Hispanic American, Asian unemployment, lowest level ever recorded. 4 million new jobs, including 500,000 new manufacturing jobs. Started construction of a major border wall, increased border security, recorded record funding of our military. Nuclear testing stopped in North Korea. Our military facilities dismantled in many nations. ISIS driven. I could keep going on and on. I'm trying to get you to understand. This man in 2 years did more than 20 years of Obama and Bush, and even probably back to Father Bush and even Bill Clinton, 30, 40 years. In 2 years of his life. And people think he's a scumbag. Oh, he insulted me. Yes, he did. He doesn't have much poise, but look at what he did. You can verify this at the United Nations. Hear him say it with his own mouth. 2018. Google image it, Google video it, and listen and learn as well. Try this. Everything seems to be reversed. So help me with this. I'm going to square it up. There you go. What's it say? Read this one first. The black. It's Obama, right? And, okay, you can't read it, huh? Well, it's comparing 2019, 2009, and Donald Trump. Obama, unemployment rate 9.9%. Trump 3.9%. Women 8.7%. Trump 3.8% women. Hispanics 13%. Hispanics 4%. African Americans 16%. African Americans 7%. Gross domestic product minus 2.5%. Trump plus 3%. Total jobs lost 5.1 million. Total jobs gained 2.6 million. What does that mean? Somebody's doing something. Well, we had 8 years of Biden. Biden did well too. I mean, Obama, he did too. Look at what he did. He accomplished great things for us. Here's that list. I knew I'd find it later. I want you people to know. These are, it's a list of 119 published writers in the conspiracy writers list. Those are the 119 people that I've read to get not just what Ralph Epperson says, but 119 of us. Right. That's how many books I've read on our side. This is not the number of books I've read on the other guy's side, but these are just the names of the people on our side. 119 of them. Some of these books, I've read 3 or 4 different books, but listed them once. I'm telling you, I've been doing my homework for over 50 years. I've read over 1,100 books by actual count, and there's 119 authors that I've read. Here's something to consider. Let's all go drink this new thing called Monster. That's a new disease. It's going to be a thing we need to drink. There it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it says Monster. Okay. Why is that significant? What is this? What are these 3 things in front? That's the Jewish alphabet for the number 6. 3 6s, 666. And we're all drinking this stuff. Isn't that interesting? There's the Hebrew alphabet for numbers. 1, 2, where it is, and 6 is the number 4. That number to the left, or wherever it is the number for 6.
Right. Hidden right in front of our faces.
Isn't that an interesting coincidence? Here's something to think about. Little Ralphie had success.
Yep. Put this in your water. It's good for your teeth.
Let me tell you, little Ralphie Epperson stopped, one man stopped the city of Tucson putting fluoride in our water. I went to the city council. I was given 5 minutes 4 times, and I showed them the evidence that people die from fluoride. And I said, don't do this. And here's the example. See, it's really rat poison. That's a real picture of what it's used for. There's a skull and bones. It's a poison. It's good for you. Sodium fluoride. I stopped them. One man. So there is chance, hope for us, because I fought this argument in Oregon when I lived there. This is the little philosophy, and we got other things to talk about.
Accuse the other side of what you are guilty of. Hitler's propaganda minister, Joseph
Goebbels, yeah. Was he talking about America? Notice, let's get one little example. The Clintons were negotiating and the Bidens were connecting them with Russia. That's against the law, but that's okay. So Trump called to ask if it was true, and they attack him. Right? Always accuse the other side of that which you're guilty. It works here in America. They knew that it was either Clinton or Biden that negotiated with the Russians. That's enough. Let's now switch a little bit. We're just picking things at random. By the way, this is how much stuff I've got. For us, if you wanted, these are all, each one of an individual folder. There's about 10 of them there, and each one's got a subject. Let's talk about this guy.
Oh, Fidel Castro. Absolutely. Let's talk about that one.
Notice what's happening in Cuba. Now, I'll give you a little insight. Ralph Epperson's book called The New World Order was published in Spain in the Spanish language. And I'm getting letters, emails, phone calls from people all over Latin America and South America saying, I'm reading your book, The New World Order, in the Spanish language. I don't know if it got to Cuba or not. Maybe it has, because somebody's down there saying, it's time. It's time. Let me tell you this right now. If you read The Unseen Hand, you read the documented evidence that Fidel Castro was put into power by the American government. We wanted Castro in power, so we arranged it. Oh, I don't believe that, Ralph. Everybody knows that Fidel Castro was not a communist. This is what was typical in America at the time. This is what we learned about Fidel Castro.
Cuban propaganda during the Communist Revolution. Can you move it over just a little bit? I can see it. Other way. Other way. There you go. Nope, other way. Keep going. No, you got to the other way, hon.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Just say
a little bit more. It's hard to read.
Okay. It says our revolution is not communist. Our revolution is humanist. The Cubans only want the right to an education, the right to work, the right to eat without fear, the right to peace, justice, and freedom. Cuba. And so we say, okay, he came to the United States, Fidel Castro, and went on the Ed Sullivan Show, which was a major TV show at nighttime on Sunday, and talked to them and welcome to the George Washington of Cuba. He said, address the United Nations. And then later on, he took over as a communist. But little Ralphie in the book, The Unseen Hand, proved that we knew our own government admitted we knew he was a communist. But we did it anyway. Why? Let me tell you this. Now, I meant to put this out and I didn't get a chance to do it. Fidel Castro named his communist revolutions in the center the 26th of July movement. July 26th. July is the 7th month of the year, plus 26 days. How many? Laurie, 7 plus 26? How many? 33?
Yeah, 33.
33. Okay. July 26, 1953 was the day his guerrilla army invaded the Moncada barracks of the Cuban army to start his revolution. July is the 7th month, plus 2, plus 6, plus 1, plus 9, plus 5, plus 3 equals 33.
33.
Castro's guerrilla army moved victoriously into Havana, Cuba's capital, on January the 8th, 1959. January is the first month of the year, plus 8 today, plus 1, plus 9, plus 5, plus 9 equals 33. Castro was sworn as Prime Minister of Cuba on February the 16th, 1959. February is the second month of the year. So 2 plus 1 the day, plus 6, 1, 6, plus 1, plus 9, plus 5, plus 9 equals 33. Is it fair to say that he's a 33rd degree Mason or not? I think so. I'm telling you, so that's the way that he told the establishment that he was a loyal Mason. He took orders from the. Now, I want you to. This is your test, Laurie. I have to read this because it's a small print, so you might not be able to read it. But I'm going to read a quote from George Orwell, and there it is.
Right.
And I'm going to put you on the spot to see whether or not you agree with George Orwell. He said, get centered. All writers are vain, selfish, and lazy. And at the very bottom of their motives lies a mystery. Writing a book is a long, exhausting struggle, like a long bout of some painful illness. One would never undertake such a thing if one were not driven by some demon whom one can neither resist nor understand. Does that fit Ralph Epperson or not? Please, Laurie, be kind. I'm hoping, Laurie.
I agree. I have to say I agree with it. Let's see, everybody in the chat. Yeah, pretty much everybody in the chat room's agreeing with it too.
Yes, they all agree. Think it's right. Okay, here's something. Let's go back to Barack Obama. I'm going to try this. Once again, maybe everything that I move to the right, I'm moving to my left, but it shows me moving to the right. That's what's confusing. Okay, here we go. We're going to study Barack Obama. Who started all of this kneeling at a football game?
Kaspernick? Ever wonder how all this started? It started like this. Oh my goodness.
What's Obama doing?
He was known through his whole presidency for not pledging allegiance to the flag.
Even Hillary did it.
Yeah. That's because they have no allegiance to this country.
Here's the first picture of Michelle.
Yeah, there she is. There he is.
please save time. That's Michelle looking with lust after Obama. Wouldn't you agree? Now let's show you. That's Michelle. She's wearing earrings now. Notice the short hair. So this was quickly, he got involved with Obama. This picture shows the hair starting to grow, but he's still a man. How do we know that? Women, I don't know if you know this, women button their blouses differently than we men do. We stick the button on the right side into the left side. So this is a right side, this is a man's shirt, but look at this, it's already starting to hair and looks like a woman. So this is the beginning of Michael becoming Michelle. Oh, this is.
I'm endorsing you, Joe. Thanks.
Is that true or not?
Oh, yes. I'm endorsing you, Joe, for what?
I thought that's only fair with everybody. Here, that's Michael.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not
we
Michelle.
have videos of Obama slipping up three separate times calling Michelle Michael. We have videos of that.
Oh, there she is. Now she's Michelle.
Yep.
So look at this. Now I'm going to do this. I want to take these quarterly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's Jerry Nadler. Is that a man or not? That's Schumer. Is that a man or not? That's Bill Clinton. Bill Gates. Is that a man or not? And is that
looks like a lady, huh?
In other words, it's common. It's all over the Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Oh,
how did Michael produce children?
they were the parents of those children are her doctor.
In other words, for 8 years, we lived a lie. We all believed this man.
That's right.
I'm going to tell you a story that I watched with my own eyes. I have cable access into some cable, and so I'm flipping channels, and there's a story about a salesman renting the room at the Washington, D.C. Press Club. And he's a salesman. He hired his attorney and invited the press to come and listen. And they showed up. I would bet there were 40 people there. And he got up there and he's told a story. Now, this took real courage, but he decided to do it. Unfortunately, I don't know when this occurred, but it had to be sometime before Obama became president. He said that he flew into Chicago and got a cab. And as soon as he got in the cab, he said, listen, you got any homosexuals that might be willing, and you fill in the gap? He said, yeah, I got somebody. Well, please, hold on, don't say a word. The cab driver drove, left the car, went upstairs, and came down with Barack Obama. And he's testifying that he serviced him publicly. He made this confession with his attorney. This is before.
In Chicago, that's where I live. Everybody knows him as Bathhouse Barry.
I call that criminal. I call that fraud.
Yeah.
I also can prove he was born in Kenya, and that the birth certificate.
Well, there's also proof that the Saudi government put him through college and all of that.
Laurie, please.
Sorry.
Our sheriff raised money independently of tax money to hire experts, and they looked at that thing and it was photoshopped 10 times, which means he was not eligible to become president.
Right.
That's where we are. Let's talk about Walt Disney. Oh, no, don't do this, Ralph. Everybody knows. Come on, Ralph. Everybody knows Walt Disney. Oh, are you ready for this or not?
You betcha.
Here's Walt Disney's signature. Did anybody see 3 6s in Disney's signature?
I do.
I did. I highlighted it in blue.
I see it.
Is that there or not?
Yes, it is.
Is it there or not? It's
Yes,
there.
it is.
Guess who's a Mason?
Yep.
Look at this.
Right in our faces.
I know I'm doing it by on purpose. I'm showing you his name, Mickey, M-I-C-K-E-Y.
Mm-hmm.
But when you reverse it, what does it say?
Wicked.
Is that a coincidence?
Nope.
No. I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, these are 2-letter M's. Okay? Notice what happens when you turn it sideways. I'm sorry, I can't.
You're okay. Nope. You're good.
What do you see now? 33. In other words, he's admitting he's a 33rd degree Mason.
Absolutely.
He named his lead character Mickey Mouse. How many letters in the name Mickey? 6 and 5 in Mouse. How many in M-A-S-T-E-R Mason? And how many 6 and 5? Isn't that interesting? So now you got Mickey Mouse. If you turn the letter sideways, it's, well, I don't know, I got it backwards, but anyway, it's 33. Now, okay, I'm sorry, here, I've got to show you this. This is called Club 33 in Disneyland.
Yes.
It's in the castle. Now, what do they do there? It costs you $10,000, I think, a year. And they have restaurant. Here's a friend of mine visited that with her parents, and that he lists matches, and there's the 33 club. It's not Club 15 or 15 and a half, or the National Den of Fingistan. It's 33, and when you go there, the women are taught to be sexy. So men take their daughters there, pay $10,000 to teach their children, their women, how to dress provocatively. Now look at many of the people who are now flagrantly displaying their body, sex, you name it, everything. How many of those have been made movies by Disney? How many have been Mouseketeers, or they were originally?
Yep.
All of them.
Yep.
This is what you learn at Club 33. Now,
Again, criminal.
I don't know if I got the pictures on this to show you this. I think I do. This picture here. There it is. I just hold this. That's I think an Inca pyramid on the one side. I don't know what's on the left, I guess. And then we're going to move over to this thing. That is called a chalk do or something, chalk mark or something. It's where, when they cut out the heart of the enemy, it's still beating, they place it in this little thing sitting there, and it's their son, their God. Notice there's a little cap on his head in the back, coming towards us. He's sitting down, and his knees are up. That's his knees in the front, and his feet in front. So he's actually sitting up with his knees up to make the table, and his arms are holding the table there, and they put a heart in that. So that doesn't mean anything, well, doesn't it? I'm sorry, I had these in sequence, and now I've lost it.
Oh, you're good.
It's called a chalk mold. I'm sorry. I've got to find the picture. It's very important. It's key to the whole argument. But I don't know where it went. I had it a minute ago. Not anymore. I'm sorry. I'm flipping pages and I can't.
You're fine. You're fine, Ralph.
Well, I'm sorry. I had the thing in my hands, but I don't have it now. Why? Where'd it go? I saw it. It's in here someplace, but it's not. Well, let's do this one. This is a Disney character. It's called Uncle Scrooge, right?
Right.
What's he's got his money stacked. He's skiing down a pile of money. And his children, Huey, Louie, and Dewey, or whatever it is, they're playing in the money. And there's a money tree. Just put it off, and he's in a vault. So Disney pictures the wealthy as doing that with their money. They hoard it. They don't share it. They hoard it. Do they really? Do you think Scrooge McDuck plays? No. He uses money to make money. The wealthy don't do this. They don't do this. But Disney's got Scrooge McDuck, and he's a comic character. And the kid, do you understand? He's the one that convinced us capitalism is bad. They hide money, and they gobble it up from the working class, and then they hide and play in it. Hogwash. They go out and create jobs. I wish I could find that list. Oh, there it is. It was stuck. I found it. It was stuck to the back of one of the other pictures. I knew I had it here. I had to find the picture of the chalk mold. There it is. Now we're going to compare this.
Okay.
With this. Is there a similarity there? Notice the hat. Notice the feathers. Notice the long snout. Notice the little bulb on his neck. And notice he's got his 2 teeth instead of the feet. I have a feeling that he drew Goofy. I think this is Goofy because of this.
Wow.
I'm serious. I can't show them together. I don't know how to do that. But look at this. Notice that it's got the long eyes and the little funny head on his head, and he's got a long snout and a nose and 2 teeth, and then he's strutting out and goofy. And then this guy's got 2 teeth. He's got 2 feet, and there's his teeth, and those are his ears, and those are his arms. I have a hunch that's what he's doing.
Wow.
Now, let me give you some other 33s to show you. I want to show you what I've done after I wrote my second and third books is I tell people, if you do not know masonry, you do not know history.
Absolutely right.
Because it's everywhere.
Yep.
I got upside down. Hold on.
World War II ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th. Whoa.
Is that a coincidence, do you think?
I don't believe in coincidences.
I don't think so, no. I think the Masons helped plan that war.
I do too.
Oh, not McDonald's, Ralph. Come on, don't do that with McDonald's. They don't have any connection with the 33. I don't know how to put it. I'll just stick it in there, wherever it is. Hold it up.
Oh, you look at that.
How many of them are there? 2. Notice that one of them has its footnotes. It's on the other side of the. So there are 2 separate 3s. M's.
Right.
McDonald's. Is that
Yep.
a correct? I don't think so. You might remember there was an urge over 10 years ago. We need to get into the metric system. I said, what do we need to do that for?
33 centimeters is equivalent to 12.998. This is why the Masons wanted to convert the metric system several years ago. Okay.
So it's a concealed. We're going to go from 13 inches to 33 centimeters. Oh, that's okay. We can have both. And 13 is 30. Unfortunately, I didn't do it. Oh, listen. Let's all sing together. Come on. Let's all sing.
Disney Productions. Jiminy Cricket and Pinocchio. When you wish upon a star, make no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do.
When you wish upon a star, all you're going to do, and you'll get everything you want. That star couldn't be Lucifer, could it? Of course not. Oh, no. Come on, Ralph. Wish upon a star? I don't wish upon a star. I pray to the God who's there. You bet. Is this intentional? Yes, it is.
Absolutely, it's intentional.
This is intentional. I think it is.
Words are spells. Words are spells. So, yes, absolutely, it's intentional.
Who's that?
Pope John Paul.
What's he got in his hands? Now, I was a former Catholic. That's called the monstrance. monstrous. And it's a circle, and it's got what they call the host. And
Right.
if you count the rays sticking out from the circle, you get 32 of them, and the circle becomes 33.
33.
Isn't that an interesting coincidence? Now let's take this picture first.
Okay.
Okay, I've got in my files an article in the People magazine, People, that says the Pope wears a traditional cassock with 32 buttons on it. Traditional, which means if you're 5'2" or 6'7", you're going to have 32 buttons. So I waited. Now this is a color picture, and I don't have a color machine, but I counted the buttons, and there are 32, and then the head becomes 33.
Wow.
I'm telling you, this is everywhere. Look at this. It's only got 2 more. I could do this for hours.
I know.
I'm clicking them. This is the national symbol of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Of course, they disbanded. So it looks like wheat shafts and a bunch of things on the side of what they are. And then there's that semicircle down there at the bottom with radiations. I counted them, and there's, guess what, 32 of them. And then the circle becomes 33. What's that got to do with the Soviet Union, the communist nation? I'd like to know. 32, 33. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
No.
I'm not picking on these companies. I've just found that they've got 32s and 33s as well. Now this is going to trick you out. This is going to trick you on this one.
Oh, don't tell me my ice cream. Oh my goodness.
How many flavors do they have?
33.
No. 31.
Oh, 31?
And then you add the down stroke on the one, the B, and the back stroke on the R. 31 plus 1 is 32, plus another is 33. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I could do this for hours. It's everywhere. This nation is wrapped up with Lucifer.
The symbols shall be their downfall.
They're spitting in our faces.
Absolutely there.
We're just doing mishmash now, just a combination of new ideas, things to think about, things to ponder. There's one more to do. And this I cannot certify as a duplicate, but I've got one more to do with Walt Disney. Once again, I gotta find the picture. So I'll go through them. See, I usually do this one at a time, and I get carried away and don't do it. Oh yeah, here's one. Oh, here it is. Here's one. Okay, there I got it. This is Aleister Crowley.
Yes, it is.
And Aleister Crowley, what's he doing with his white hair?
Oh, so
Is that Lucifer? Isn't it?
yeah.
That's what he thinks, the devil, with his horns, ugly nose, and his chin. That's what he's doing it for. He's telling us I'm a Luciferian. Now, let's keep that in mind. Oh boy, hold on, Ralph. Don't do this to me. No, this is not the same. I'm very clear. But it's the same principle.
Okay, yeah.
What's Disney doing with his hand? Now, it's not the same, but I think what he's doing is he's reaching for the star. Lucifer. Little Mickey there, Mickey Mouse, exclamation, M&M, 33. I don't know. I can't find out what that means. I've been Googling and looking for years. But look at it. It's similar, but not the same. But it's not, look at it, I'm pointing. We're going that way. Yes, we got to go that way. And I think I'm saying, I'm reaching for the star. Jimmy Cricket told us, when Mickey and I are reaching for the star.
But if you look at it, he's got 2 fingers up, and then the other ones are circled back. And if you look at it, that would be a 6 and a 6, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, usually the thumb makes it, if you do it this way, you make these 2 go that way.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And here's the last one.
Oh, yeah, the animations. Yep. That's right.
24 divisions plus the circle. Oh, sorry, 32 divisions plus the circle. Now, how many letters?
Native Nations has 13 letters. Yeah. There you go. United Nations, 13 letters. Logo, 32 divisions plus 1 circle is 33. 13 leaves on each side. Yep.
And 13 letters in the United Nations. It's everywhere. I'm telling you, there's no people doing this. I cannot find anyone that's got this comment about the combinations of numbers and letters. Little Ralph is doing things that no one else is doing, and these are important to know that this stuff is all around us. This nation is living with Lucifer. It's everywhere.
Absolutely, it is.
I'm telling you, it's scary stuff. Well, we've gone. No, we started at 6 o'clock, didn't we? So it's 7:30. So we got half an hour to go, right?
Yep.
You want to keep going?
Keep going. You've got everybody's attention. The moon.
We didn't go.
Gosh, that's right.
You want proof? Would you like proof? I've had people, oh yeah, I know we didn't go. How do you know? Well, I just know. No,
well,
you
no.
don't know.
A lot of times people will say,
prove it.
Well, a lot of times people will say, I know we went to the moon because I watched it.
I think that this thing I'm holding here is working because it might not be, but it's keeping the paper from slipping over. I'm going to try to keep these in sequence.
Nada.
You know what that means in Spanish?
Nothing. Zero.
Nothing.
Yep.
That's what it is. We're being lied to. I used a leaf blower. You know what a leaf blower does?
Uh-huh.
That's a guy with a leaf blower and a bunch of leaves, and he's from one end, he's 15 feet away from it.
Right.
This is on Earth with a leaf blower. What would this do if it was on the moon? It would be 6 times that because it's got 1/6 of the gravity.
That's right.
So a leaf blower is going to prove we didn't go to the moon. Oh, yes, we did, Ralph. This is the CBS program. It's got, I'll show you in a minute who's doing it. Apollo 11, the complete descent. And that's that circle or arc is the Apollo 11 coming into land on the surface of the moon. So now we're going to show you, oh baby, we went, come on, Ralph. Even an astronaut agreed with it. He was there, he saw it. This is to show you that these guys, come on, Ralph. You're telling me that this guy, Wally Schirra, knew that?
Walter Cronkite left and Walter Schirra right.
Yeah. Is Wally Schirra, here's an astronaut. So they're doing the show. And they're showing us the descent. There it is. This is, here we go. Now get it straight and put it this way. Altitude of 28,000 feet and the velocities are 1,800 foot per second, and they're ranged to go 34 straight miles. So it's all being, so we're typing our machine. We got a graphic showing you what it is, and here it lands, baby. Come on, Ralph. We're going to show you that it really landed. Here's the. Okay. Now, by the way, the lunar lander never landed on the moon. Here's one. See, the lunar lander is two parts.
Right.
The bottom part's got the descent engine. Forgive me, I lost the section. It's got two parts.
Right.
When it left, the top part left and the bottom part's still there. Now, here we got NASA telling us there was dust. This is a picture taken out one of the windows, and it shows the surface of the moon. That's that gray, the gray stuff on the right side is the sun. And there it is. And one of them, I think it was the Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong. There's dust. He said there's dust. Now let's look to see if there was dust. I got 9 pictures. Can you see that underneath? There's the lunar lander on the top, on a bunch of, they call these rods or something, and they've got, they're called, I can't remember the name. They're like a pipe, coffee cup saucer. So they right. So okay, no, there's nothing. There's no. They turned the engine off after it landed. That thing is burning 50 feet, and that means that the surface came down like this and disappeared, and then they shut it off, which means there should be a crater like this.
Right.
If a leaf blower did this on the moon, on the Earth, how much is the 10,000 pounds of it? Did you see any evidence of that in that picture?
Absolutely not.
You'll have to trust me to save time. I'll give you 2 or 3. I got 9 of them. Now, all of these are not, by the way, Apollo 11. But let's look in close. Do you see any crater or dust kicked up or anything there at all?
Nope. It's almost as if they just picked it up and set it there.
Here's the last one. 3. I've got 9 in my DVD. You'll see all 9 of them. I've got 3 of them here.
No.
Okay. Now, I know. Listen, those pods, they're shaped, bowl-shaped. They're going to get the dust, and it's going to be filled with dust because they land on the surface, and the dust up. Because he said there's dust. So let's look at it. It's a pod. That's what it's called. You see any dust in that pod? Not at all. Not at all.
No.
Wait a minute. There's dust. Where's dust? Now, these are the other 9, 6 others. I'm showing you, sorting through them. Okay, is it possible that there is dust and could it be kicked up? Yes. I'm going to prove it to you. It's a chance to kick up dust. It's not the lunar lander. But there's something else did it, and we were lucky that they took that with them, because it's going to prove that they did. You can kick up dust. It's called the lunar, rover.
They were lucky they took it with them.
Prove it, rover. Come on, you can prove it, baby. I can't see it.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Is it kicking up dust?
Yeah.
Now, the lunar lander didn't do it, but the rover did. There it is. Now, it's not 37 feet high, but it's kicking up dust. I've got 3 pictures. I'll show you 2 of them. All 3 of them kicking up dust. So dust can be kicked up by the, I don't know, do you tell me right, left? Can you see it?
The other to your left.
To my left?
Yeah. And put it back out a little bit. A little bit more to your left. No, we can't see that. We can't see it.
I'll do it this way. Slowly move it by. You'll see the dust being kicked
Yeah, it's got to go up.
Another picture. So, little Ralphie draws a conclusion. Oh, don't do that, Ralph. Please, don't question it. Don't do this, Ralph. Little Ralphie did. Come on. Ralphie says, wait a minute. I drew a conclusion from that. Oh, don't do that. I can't do this.
There you go. So moon dust can be kicked up.
And who said that?
You did.
Little Ralphie. Don't do that, Ralph. Please. You're proving it didn't go. Come on,
I
Ralph.
know. How dare you?
Oh, here. I should have showed this. I made it bigger, but I want you to see this, and you'll have to help me. Now, please understand, I'm going to move it, tell me, closer, further.
Further away and to your left.
To my left, over here.
Yep. Nope, other way. There you go. Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Stop and up. Up. There you go. Stop right there.
What do you see?
I see a lunar, the module on a crane.
On a crane? Could it have been picked up and put down on a site that looked like the moon? Yes.
Yeah.
Those men, all of the pictures of them walking were taken at Area 51. I can't prove it, but I can prove it because there's no dust from a 10,000-pound thrust engine. It should have made a crater 10 feet deep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, here's evidence that it didn't take off. That rocket engine did not take it off the moon. Somehow else it went off the moon. Oh no, Ralph, don't do this, please. Help me once again. Forward.
You're good. No, put it back a little bit. There you go. Now put it back. A little back, a little bit more, and to your left. Now to your left. Now up. Up. There you go. Perfect.
What do you see? That's the top part of the bottom is now going to go like this. And that 10,000-pound engine is supposed to take him off as well. But it didn't. It didn't do it. Why?
Because we didn't do it.
I caught him again. Same thing. Forward, back.
Give me just a second. Over to the left a little bit. And up. There we go. Perfect.
You see a flame there? That's the lunar lander, or the lunar part of the lander taking off. There's no flame. There's no flame. There is no flame. How can you get off without a flame? Do you understand? This is abundant evidence. We didn't go. And you'll still, people on Facebook refuse to watch it. when I can
I know.
prove they didn't go?
You know?
The Last Evidence is a book. I should have gotten it. There's a book out called One Giant Leap. Oh, that's right. Neil Armstrong's hanging on a ladder, and he says, "One giant step for man, for man." He should have said a man. One giant step for a man, and then he jumped and hit the ground and said, "One giant leap for mankind." He forgot the word a, which means the sentence doesn't make sense. And I think that was his way of saying,
On purpose.
I didn't know. No.
Yeah.
There's a book called One Giant Leap, published in 2004. One Giant Leap is an intriguing account of an individual, Neil Armstrong, with a seemingly impossible dream. And that was, I want to go to the moon. Quote, "The dream was so exquisite and so vibrantly real that 6-year-old Neil Armstrong was afraid to tell anyone of it." That's the book. I read the book. And at the back of the book, on a page that's not numbered, which means it's Neil Armstrong attaching my answer to your book, and they published it. I can show it to you. Quote, "As for walking on the moon, sometimes I, Neil Armstrong, wondered if that really happened." What? I can honestly say, and it's a great surprise to me, that I have never had a dream about being on the moon. It's a great disappointment to me. Wait a minute. Little Ralphie Epperson was 26 years old at the time of Kennedy assassination. Right now, in my mind, I'm standing in an office at the precise moment where I stood and a bunch of us listened to a radio broadcasting the details. I remember walking across the lobby and a guy coming out of the elevator who heard it. He said, "Ralph, if you heard Kennedy's shot." I said, "You what?" He said, so I went back in and I stood there. This is 50 some years, 60 years ago. And I remember it vividly. He doesn't remember going to the moon 20 years later? What? I think he knows. And he did that. He forgot the word A intentionally, which means the statement is not true. And he didn't go to the moon. Buzz Aldrin is now saying, yes. Please Google image Buzz Aldrin. He was the other one on the moon. Said he's in front of it, looked like a bunch of kindergartners, first grade, second grade, and they're all sitting on their haunches. And he says, we didn't go to the moon. We didn't go.
I remember that.
We didn't go. We didn't go to the moon. I have to admit, he's an alcoholic. He might be recovering. He might still be drunk when he said it, but he said it.
Can I show you a picture?
Huh?
Can I show you a picture?
Sure. He said, yeah.
Do these three men look like they just landed on the moon?
No. No, this was the 25th anniversary.
Yeah. Do they look like, I mean, they should be exuberant and happy. They accomplished what no man had done before. And they look like, just horrible.
Buzz Aldrin, Neil didn't want to go. He was pressured. Neil, you better go or you won't go again.
And they're all Masons, right?
Well, I can't prove that Neil Armstrong was, but I'll give you a little clue. 4 of the original 7 were Masons, confirmed by the Masons.
And didn't they put a Mason flag on the moon?
Please. 4 of the original 7 were Masons, confirmed by them. I got the book and I'll show you the picture. 4 of the 7. The man they selected to be the first man on the moon was Gus Grissom, who was a Mason.
Right.
Gus Grissom, his real name was, I think, Virgil Grissom, and his nickname was Gus. Everybody called him Gus. But Virgil Grissom has 13 letters in it. 13 letters to take. Virgil Grissom hung a lemon on the lunar lander while it was in the ground in the museum, or wherever it was, in Florida. He took a coat hanger, stuck a lemon on it, and hung it on it, which means it's not going to go. And he didn't want to go. So what did they do? They put him in a rocket with 2 others, and they killed all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then selected Neil Armstrong, who has 13 letters in his name. This is all coincidence, don't forget. I'm telling you, young lady, if you do not know the Masons, you don't know history. Okay, we got through that one. Okay, we only got 10 more minutes. Okay, let's do this. This might be a good one to end with. Now, you can do it and I'll do it as well. You could probably do it better because you're centered and everything else. I want you to take your hand and go like this, straight out. I'll do it like this. Straight out. And then I want you, your right arm. And then I want you to slowly curl the fingers, slowly curl them underneath. Okay, not all the way. But just so that you can see the tips are still pointing in. Yeah, go back to what you did, but don't clench it.
Okay.
Stop. Take the thumb and insert it into your palm. Then clench it. Now, take that over your heart, pull your elbow in tight. Okay? Thank you. You're now, lower it down a little bit over your heart, but you're right, you're making what is called the lion's paw. Okay? Now I'm going to go through these. We got 5 minutes or so. Here's the first one.
Oh my goodness.
This picture's 4,000 years old. This was the guy that built the pyramid. By the way, this is condensed. I picked out just a few of these to show you.
Okay.
Napoleon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Albert Pike.
No. Karl Marx, the communist. He was a Luciferian. Yeah, see, Ralphie, I was the guy that found this. I made it public 10 years ago. I'm adding to it. I've got like 30 more of these. That is called Vladimir Lenin. They pronounce it Lenin, who murdered 30 million people to give the Russian people the joys of communism in their revolution. He's admitting he's a Luciferian.
He is.
Here's Joseph Stalin, who replaced him when Lenin died. What's he doing? The same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah. Who's this guy? Now this, I'm going to show both of them. He's probably hold it if I can. Okay, there.
John Wilkes Booth. Oh my goodness. No way. Wow.
This one here is of the Knights of the Golden Circle. It's not the Masons or the ancient mystery religion, but there John Wilkes Booth is giving the lion's paw. He was a Mason. Now, I'm sorry, these are copies of copies, and who knows what else.
Anton LaVey.
Yes. Is he giving the lion's paw? Yes.
Absolutely.
Because he's a Satanist. Now, this is not present. Hold on. Don't do this, Ralph. Yes, we have to do this. Georgie Porgy Washington. What's he doing with his right hand?
Lion's paw.
He's showing us. I'll end with it. We'll bring it a little bit better that we get finished. Now here's this is the 2020 debates. That's Jeb Bush in the middle. Now, I don't know which side. My finger side is that's Ted Cruz, and the other guy is I don't know somewhere else. They're all right. Now here's Ted Cruz doing it on national television twice, not just once, twice. The same identical salute.
I remember when he did it. Yeah, I remember when he did it.
That's telling me something about Ted Cruz.
Absolutely.
Don't worry. Sean Hannity loves him.
Oh, yes.
Who's that?
That's Kim.
Yes, North Korea.
North Korea.
Now, he's not a Mason, as far as I know. Now, this is not very pleasant for the Catholics. I'm sorry. I used to be a Catholic.
I'm a recovering Catholic as well.
I'm going to do this. There's two pictures. The first one there.
Oh, there's Benedict.
What's he doing?
Lion's
The
paw.
lion's paw. Is he a priest or the Pope?
He's a priest
He's
there.
wearing black. He's a priest. As
Yeah.
a young man.
Yep. And there.
What does that tell us about the Pope? Now, it's not the Masons when they're doing it. All of these men. They're a part of the ancient mystery religion. Laurie, please. Of Babylon. Mystery Babylon. It is the conspiracy that's running this country today. It's worldwide. It's been here for 6,000 years. It goes all the way back before Babylon to the war in heaven between Satan and his angels and Michael and his angels. And Michael won the war. So God banished Satan to earth, and he brought those angels, those fallen angels, with him. And I believe they became the demons. But that's irrespective. I'm talking about an event that really happened, because in the Garden of Eden, God taught Adam and Eve, you're free to eat any fruit, fruit meaning a pear, an apple, whatever you want, except the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Thou shalt not eat from the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, why did he do that? He said, I will teach you what's right and wrong, because if you do, you'll say, gee, that blonde is really attractive. I'd like to have her. That guy's got money. I don't have. I can take it. That guy's got property, a house. I don't have a house. I can take it. He's got a car. In other words, there's no God. There's no morality. And that's what the Colonel meant. When he said, I'm going to do this to everything you believe in. It's what it's called. Okay, anyway. My book here, The New World Order. That's what it's called. And I'm urging you, if you want to know what's happening in America today, you need to read the New World Order. You don't have a choice. I'm telling you, this country's going down. It's going down. If we allow Biden to run this country and finish it in 4 years, in 3 years, we're going to be Venezuela. Do you know what happened to Venezuela? When they discovered oil down there and they got involved with the OPEC, they became wealthier and prosperous, the wealthiest nation in all of Latin South America. And what happened? They got the Dominion machines and rigged it so that the communists would win the election. And now 200,000, well, that's where I was 2 or 3 years ago, have fled the country. They're starving. That's going to be America if we let Biden continue this. I'm telling you, this is serious, baby.
Absolutely.
They're not playing for anyone. They're playing for the whole enchilada. We are undergoing right now a total Marxist communist revolution. We see it right in front of our eyes, but we don't understand. Now, I want to make one last comment. The American people are not stupid. They're ignorant, and there's a major difference. Ignorant people can learn, stupid people can't learn. That means we've got to awaken our fellow Americans to save this nation. That's what this is all about. It's not fun. People constantly say, by the way, I'm very flattered when people say, how are you, Ralph? They know that I'm getting old, and I am. And I made it. When I took a physical at 70, when I was 78, I'm 83 now. When I took a physical at 73, my doctor ran through the computer and all my tests. I do all the blood tests and all of this. And he said, you're 75% likely to make 85. And he said, you are the healthiest 50-year-old patient I've ever seen. And I'm 78. So you can see my eyes are not the same size anymore. I'm losing my hair. I'm kind of shuffling. I'm getting older, but as I told you, I'm looking forward to what I'm going to do with sharing life, the woman that God gave me on this earth. And she's both of us, all of the laundry, the problems, the minimal problems, they're all gone. She's not going to do that way. She's going to do what I saw in the vision of her walking in front of me on March the 1st, 1966. Because all of that's gone. It's all been forgiven. That's the joy of being a Christian. I'm telling you, I'm sitting here waiting. I can hardly wait to go. Now, I can't commit suicide. I wouldn't do it anyway. Because I'm supposed to live my life. God said, I can take your life. I gave it to you. He's the only one. Government can't do it. Yes, they can. They're killing people right and left with the vaccines, etc. This is scary. So it gave me a bunch of stuff to think about. And
Walk down the moon.
They're all smiling. They know then, but I think you're right in that picture you brought up. They know. They've been living a life for 25, 50, 30 years.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When I read the book, I concluded that unnumbered page at the back of the book was his way of saying, I'm not part of the book because I didn't have that vision, that dream. And I don't remember even going. Wow. So I was praying as I heard he was dying. I said, Father, get to him and tell him to tell the truth. And then accept Jesus.
Right.
I don't know if he's a Christian. He might have been a Christian, but then he's got to tell the truth. He should hold a press conference. My name is Neil Armstrong. I did not go to the moon. And I'm going to tell you, I've lived this, and it's been on my mind. I can't live. I can't feed food. I can't do anything. It's been terrible. And I'm now confessing that I didn't go. Buzz Aldrin is going to tell you this later. This book was written, I said 2016 or something. So Buzz now is saying it. But you're right, that picture. That picture showed everybody.
Wow.
Well, we did a good job of getting rid of some of these.
Thank you so much, Ralph. I mean, I would like to have you on again because we did not get to touch on Jesse James.
No?
I would like to invite you back on to talk about that at a later date because that's a very interesting topic as well.
Yes. By the way, I've discovered 4 or 5 things about the Kennedy assassination that absolutely nobody has found. I'm not joking. The Superior film has been changed by the FBI so badly it's no longer valid.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to have you back on if you'll join me again.
Oh, I'll be happy to do it. I'm a teacher. Teacher means I'm looking for students. I once taught a class of 4 of us, well, 5 of us, 4 others in an apartment room for about 10 weeks, sitting there with a chalkboard and like a write-off and a handout, and we had fun. And they were there every Wednesday night or whatever night it was. So I've done talk shows. I've been on nationwide television. I was on I think it was the what do they call it? The big Christian network, CNA or
TBN or no, CBN.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I should have included a picture of Pat Robertson.
Yes. Yep.
Twice.
Yeah.
He's on record of admitting that he fell off his horse. So I say on my DVD, gee, I wonder if Karl Marx rode a horse. I don't think so. I don't think Lenin did either. How did they break their arms? I asked my doctor, if you're on a horse and you break your arm, what do? Well, I treat it and get him a sling, and he goes like this. You don't hold it like this. He goes a sling, and you got to rest it because you don't use it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I've got other things we could do. We got to talk about the Kennedy assassination. I'll prepare that a little bit better. Because I'm telling you, once you see this, you're going to wonder why. I've read 62 books on the Kennedy assassination by actual count in my library. It's around behind me, around the corner. 62 of them. Not one is found what I found. Now, why am I? Last comment I'll make. I'm going to draw 10 minutes late.
Okay.
Little Ralphie, the reason I believe I've done what I've done, even though it's very limited, I'm not reaching millions or billions, or I just do the best I can, and as you talk, you don't know. But I believe God said, Ralph, I've got a job for you to do. I'm going to give you the woman in your dreams. You're going to be tested. You're going to have victories. You want to talk? You can do that as well. But I'm going to give you that. And when I am doing my job as God commanded me and finding things that no one else has found. 119 of those people I showed you have not found many of the things that I've discussed. dozens of things. Now, why? Because in 1973, I answered the question that he's asking everyone on this earth. Jesus asked Peter, eyeball to eyeball, who do you say that I am? Now, Ralph, he said, you're the Christ, the living Son of God, and you're my Savior. You have stated it correctly, and there, if you believe that, you will be saved.
Amen. Thank you, Ralph, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for putting up with me and my piece of beauty and everything else. We did it.
Oh, thank you, Ralph. So Ralph will be back with us at a later time. We'll make sure that, we give you guys plenty of notice. I want to thank everybody in the chat room for joining us tonight. I want to thank all of our moderators and for everybody that's joining us. Again, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Until next time, remember, guys, eyes open, no fear.